Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to NFL Week 3. The one and only Mark Anthony Spencer is back here, folks, for September the 27th, 2015. Back here again, folks. Week 2 was pretty amazing. We saw lots of injuries. We've seen some teams go 0-2. So some teams might go 0-3 in this coming week. Mostly the favorites. Teams like the Indianapolis Colts. We look at the Philadelphia Eagles was another one that, a team that was supposed to be very, very good. The Baltimore Ravens. This team is an elite team in the National Football League, but one of their best defensive players is out for the season with a torn Achilles, and Terrell Suggs. So, we look to this week. To start off the week, we had, the Redskins and Washington. Sorry about that, folks. But Washington taking on, the New York Giants. It was an interesting game. I'm bad. But no, for real, Eli Manning. Sorry, folks. Eli Manning had a good game. He really was locked in. He played bad against Dallas the previous week, but he brought his A game. He brought his B game. Didn't have any confusion. Odell Beckham looked pretty good. The running game looked pretty good. The defense looked okay. It looked like everything's starting to come together. Tom Coughlin just proved why he's one of the game's top game managers. Never mind top managers of the game, top coaches of the game. There's a reason Tom Coughlin's a Super Bowl winner. He just knows how to get his team to play the best they can play with the players they have. It's true that Jason Pierre-Paul is injured still. He might not play this year, but, it's going to be tough for that defense. But, this defense is proven to the league, and it's proven to me as a longtime fan of this league. And, watching these Giants, they've been tough over the last few years, won some amazing Super Bowls and playing some big games. One of their throwback units from 1995, 1980s, when they had Phil Simms, you had Lawrence Taylor. You had some of the biggest names to ever play the game of football. So, in my mind, I think that when you're looking at this team, they have a lot of hope. They have a lot of belief. And that's what it takes in the National Football League. You got to believe you can win the next game. And that's what the Giants proved them when they came and beat the Washington in Washington. Was it in Washington? I think it was in New York. So basically New Jersey. So it was a big game. I think it was like 22-10 or something like that. I'm going to have to double check the score. But, Eli played real good in that game. Kirk Cousins, he looked pretty decent. He wasn't too bad. The running game was pretty good. The defense for the Redskins was pretty awful. That's one of their biggest weaknesses. They need to really get RG3 back in there, man. I don't know what Jay Gruden's watching. I don't know what he's coaching. He needs to get his superstar back in there. He is the franchise. They need it. They need RG3, man. He's the type of quarterback that can do things that most can't. Only players like Cam Newton, this Taylor kid out in Buffalo, there's a few others that can do what he can do. Even Russell Wilson, when he wants to use his legs and run like a running back and play hard. Seattle's been another team that's been bad too. They got off to 0-2 start. They have to win this week. Cam Chandler's coming back. It's a big game against the Bears. It's not going to be an easy game. Don't get me wrong. Every game you play against a team that is struggling over the years, Bears are 1-2 or are they 0-2? I'm not too sure. I have to double check on that one. But they don't have their starting quarterback in Jay Cutler. Their top young wide receiver is pretty much out for the season, Kevin White. Martellus Bennett. This is going to be a big game for him playing against his older brother, Michael Bennett. So, it's going to be an interesting game. We got a few brothers playing in this big weekend. Luke McCowan will be playing. Won't play against his older brother, Josh McCowan, but, the brothers will be playing, like the Madden brothers will be playing. The Bennett brothers will be playing. So, it's like a family thing going across the National Football League. Football is a family game, I guess. Most families run most teams across the National Football League, if you never knew that. But I know that. Some ownerships are a conglomerate of a bunch of people, and most times it's a family that runs some of these teams. It's pretty cool. So let's do my picks for this week in football, baby. Let's take a look at who I think are going to be winners this week. Okay, let's start off with Cincinnati, Baltimore. You know what, folks? Baltimore is really in big trouble. So I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens to win this game by at least 7 points. It's going to be a close one. I really feel that Joe Flacco is going to just turn his game on today. He's going to bring it. I think for Cincinnati, their defense is going to have some lapses. Adam Jones hasn't been playing good of late. I got to admit, he's a great player, no doubt about it, but he's having some troubles of late. And I think that defense for Cincinnati is going to fumble it up. Their quarterback, he's a great quarterback, don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to fumble it up too. A.J. Green's not going to do too well. So I'm taking Baltimore Ravens by 7. The second game, New Orleans versus Carolina. So Luke McCown will be started for the injured Drew Brees. It's too bad. Drew Brees has a shoulder problem. Everybody gets injured in this league. It's his first time he's been hurt since 2007, so that's amazing.